All right, guys, welcome to the video. This is Kenny Cannon here. Before we get started, I just want to say I do have a little bit of a cold, so you're gonna have to excuse me if I sound a little weird or I sniffle every once in a while. But I'll do a short video on this question I have from Cora. What are some simple sales strategies for cold calling? I've been cold calling my whole entire life, not my whole life, but since I was 15 years old. It's all I've really ever done when it comes to business. And, I have my own company and I've built multiple companies and I work with clients on a one on one basis and I teach a lot of people. And it all comes back to closing the deal, right? And when I hear people talk about cold calling, they're always talking about like either the consultative approach, which is garbage, or I hear people talking about getting appointments. They'll never actually go into how to take money over the telephone. They'll only go into, well, here's how to get an appointment. Talk about these and ask these three questions and, tell them Tuesday or Thursday, right? That's all you ever hear. So what I wanted to do is make this video. I was going to type this out, but there would be no way I could get it across as well as if I actually talked to you about it. What I want to do here is I want to teach you how to get money over the phone. Okay, we'll go into a short appointment thing, but my appointment pitch is like 2 lines, so it's really not that big of a deal. But I want to teach you how to get money. Okay, getting money over the telephone is so freaking easy. And what's crazy about it is that nobody does it. That makes it even easier, right? Because your competition is literally zero. Even if you suck on the phone, it doesn't matter because nobody else is making the calls. Okay? They may do it for a day, they may do it for two, but nobody's doing it for years. It's just they're not out there. So even if you're terrible at it and you ask for the money, you're going to get it eventually because there's no other competition out there. Okay? So let's go over the structure of a pitch. This is a pitch that I've been using since I'm 15 years old. It works like crazy, and I know probably 40 or 50 other people in different industries that have created multi-million-dollar companies by using this exact pitch. It works in any industry in the world, doesn't matter. You just have to tailor it to whatever it is that you're doing. So what we'll do is we're going to start with the open, okay? Because that's always the first thing that's going to happen, obviously. You pick up the phone, you call somebody, and a secretary answers, right? How do you get past that secretary? The way that most people do it is they'll say, "Hi, this is Kenny from XYZ Marketing Company in New York. We build websites and we're doing a free estimate for all web companies in your area. And we would like to speak to Pete if he's available." Pete's the owner of this company that I'm calling. And that person gets hung up on every single time. Every time, okay? And you could just give up on that company because they know who you are. And every time you call, you're going to get screened out. So the way that I do it is I call that same company and I say, "Hey, this is Kenny. Is Pete there?" Just like that. Okay. "Hey, this is Kenny. Is Pete there?" And the woman on the other end of the phone, if it's a secretary or the man, whoever it is, they're going to say usually one of two things. They're either going to say, "What is this in reference to?" which is the most common. You're going to get that 90% of the time. Or they're going to say, "Hold on," and they're going to get them. Okay. Or they might say he's not in or whatever. But they're either going to put you through or tell you he's not there, or they're going to say, "What is this in reference to?" If they say, "What is this in reference to?" the way that I always approach that, and you guys are going to think this is crazy, but I'm telling you, if you try it, it's going to work every time. The way that I approach that is if somebody says, "What is this in reference to?" I say, "Come on, are you serious? You don't remember me? It's Kenny. I'm calling for Pete. Is he in?" Just like that. Okay? Now, what that does on a psychological level is it tells them that they should know who I am. Okay? When you're dealing with secretaries, you always want to put them in a position where they feel like they're going to get in more trouble if they screen you out than if they put you through. Okay? That's the goal when you're dealing with a secretary. You want to be the person that says that they say, "I can't mess with this person because he's important." Okay? So, rather than try to explain myself to her and tell her what I'm calling him about, I just say, "Come on. You don't remember? Do you really don't remember who I am? It's Kenny from New York. Is he in?" Okay? Just like that. All right? So that's how I go into it, okay? And once I get the person on the telephone, I simply say, he's going to pick up the phone, he's going to say, "Hi, this is Pete, how can I help you?" And I'm going to say, "Hey, this is Kenny from XYZ Marketing Company out in New York. Can you hear me okay?" Just like that, okay? XYZ Marketing is the company I always use when I'm like practicing pitching or whatever. So I'm going to say, "Hey, this is Kenny from XYZ Marketing Company out in New York. Can you hear me okay?" Why don't I say, "Can I help you?" Or "How you doing today?" Right? "Can I help you?" is the in-person stuff. Why don't I say, "How you doing?" The reason why I don't say that is because what if they say horrible? Call's over, right? If I say, "Can you hear me?" they're always going to say yes, okay? And then I'm in, right? So I say, "Hey, this is Kenny from XYZ Marketing Company out in New York. Can you hear me okay? And they're going to say yes. The next thing I do right after they say yes is I say, great. The reason for the call, Pete, is whatever it is. Okay? So the reason for the call, Pete, is you filled out a form and mailed it back to my company expressing interest in a new website, and I'm calling you about that or whatever, okay? Or, you filled out a form online saying that you needed health insurance, and I'm just giving you a call back to check up on what's going on or something like that. Whatever the reason for the call is. But you have to know how I'm saying it because that's much more important, right? I'm not saying to him, he says, hey, Pete, hi, this is Pete. Can I help you? I'm not saying, yes, hi, Pete, this is Kenny from XYZ Marketing Company out in New York. Can you hear me okay? I'm not saying it like that. I'm saying, Pete, this is Kenny from XYZ Marketing Company out in New York. Can you hear me okay? And he's going to say yes. And then I say to him, great. The reason for the call, right? It's not great. The reason for the call, that's no. Yeah, that's going to get you hung up on. Great. The reason for the call, Pete, is this. Okay, that's the way I'm saying it. All right? And usually what I like to do is I like to say, Pete, great. Pete, the reason for the call is, and then I get really quiet. The reason for the call is you filled out a form online about health insurance, and I was calling you to see what's going on with it or whatever, however I transition to the next part, okay? The next part of the pitch is 3 questions, okay? So I always end the reason for the call with just a couple quick questions to see if it will be a good fit, all right? So I'm going to say, great, the reason for the call is whatever it is, just a couple quick questions to see if it would be a good fit. No pause, no stop, no do you have 60 seconds, no do you have 2 minutes to talk, none of that stuff. Cut it out. What I say is, great, the reason for the call is this, right? Then I say to him, just a couple quick questions to see if it would be a good fit. Question 1. Okay, so great, the reason for the call is you filled out a form online expressing interest in us building you a sales funnel. I just have a couple quick questions to see if it would be a good fit for you. Question number 1, how long have you been in business for? 10 years. How many employees do you have? 50. Ballpark figure. What's your annual revenue? Ballpark. Just an estimate. $10 million. Perfect. Now here's the next part. Okay? The 3 questions. Then comes the flip on him. That's what I call it. I just call it the flip or the flip over. Right? What I do to him is I say this. I say a couple quick questions. 1, 2, 3. And then I say, based on what you just told me, Pete, what we do here seems like a perfect fit for you. And here's basically how it works. Okay? So in the opening of the call, I'm not talking about anything about what we do. He doesn't even know what I do yet. Okay? All I'm doing is I'm saying the reason why I'm calling you is this. Couple of quick questions to see if this is even worth our time talking about. Check 1, check 2, check 3. Based on your answers to those 3 questions, Pete, what we do here is a perfect fit for you and your company, and here's basically how it works. The term basically in that line is the most important. What does that put across? What I'm saying to him subliminally on a different level is, I'm not going to sit here and talk to you for 5.5 hours. Here's basically how it works. I'm going to run through it in 30 seconds. Okay, I'm not going to talk to you for an hour and a half. I'm going to run through it in 30 seconds, a minute tops. Okay, but we don't want to say that. We just want to tell them basically how it works. Okay, now this is the presentation portion of the pitch. It's going to be about 10 lines long. All right. The way that I like to write these out for people or myself, if I'm doing one for myself or whoever, is I like to bullet point out all of the benefits of the company or the product or the service that I'm selling. Then what I like to do is I like to put them in order. So the strongest benefit will go on top, right? That would be number 1. Like let's say it's a free trial, right? For example, that would be number 1. That would be the strongest benefit that we have. So I list them out 1 through 10, then I put them in order, strongest to weakest. Then I write my pitch upside down. So the 10th strongest, the weakest bullet point that we have is the first thing I'm going to talk about in the script. Okay, why is that? That sounds stupid, right? Why would you do that? If you have a free trial, why don't you just say, based on what you just told me, it's a perfect fit for you, and here's basically how it works. By the way, it's a free trial. Why won't you do that? The reason why you don't do that is because he's not going to say right then and there, 15 seconds into a call, okay, let's do it. He's more likely to say yes at the bottom. So we save the strongest ones for last. Okay? So we're going to lead off with the weak ones, and we're going to hold the heaviest ones till the bottom of the pitch. So that's how I write the presentation portion of it. Okay? Right after I'm done with those 10 lines or so of the presentation, I do what's called a trial close. A trial close, very simply, is me fishing for a no. And the reason why I do that, I want the person to say no at that point. The reason why I do that is because when I hear the word no, that's when the game actually starts, right? Like the introduction, the 3 questions, based on what you just told me is a perfect fit for you. Here's basically how it works. The presentation, that's like, you're coming out for warm-ups, taking shots on an empty net if you're a hockey fan, right? You just like you're walking down the tunnel, you hop on the ice, skate around a little bit, loosen up. That's all that is. But once you hear, nah, I don't think this is right for me. Puck just dropped, clock's ticking down, you're ready to go. Okay, that's when it all starts. When you hear the word no is when the game begins. So I want to fish that out as quickly as possible. In my company, I'm asking $15,000 in a minute and a half. Cold. Never heard from, has no idea who I am. $15,000 in a minute and a half. They all say no. But that's when the fun starts. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a very simple trial close. I'm going to give them all the benefits. Remember, I'm going to reverse them, give them the weakest one first, and then go down the line. Right? Maybe 3 or 4 benefits, 10 lines total. And then I'm going to say to them, and if you just give me this one shot, Pete, I guarantee you I won't let you down. Okay? Or, if you just give me the next 60 to 90 days to prove myself, Pete, the only regret that you're going to have is we didn't start sooner. Something like that. Okay? They're going to say no every single time. And that's exactly what we're looking for. Then what we're going to do is usually what I do is I do a 4-part rebuttal sequence after that trial close. Depending on the price of the product, I'm going to do a 4-part rebuttal sequence. And that rebuttal sequence is just going to be the bullet points that I have, weakest first, strongest last. Okay? Now, you have to be able to sense when you're losing the person. If you can't sense when you're losing the person, you're going to have trouble. Okay? And that just comes with experience. That comes with time on the phone. Because here's the thing. I can say to them, listen, if you just give me the next 60 to 90 days to prove myself, I guarantee you that I won't let you down. No. Okay, perfect. Let me go to my 4th weakest bullet point and say, got it. The true beauty of this program is 4th weakest bullet point. Buy again. Right? I ask him to buy again. Visa or MasterCard, what's better for you? Whatever. Okay? Says no again. I give him another rebuttal. He says no again. Now he's really getting pissed, and I feel him trying to hang up on me, like he's ready to go at any time. At that point, I just jump right in and say, one thing I didn't tell you, Pete, it's a free trial. So you don't even have to decide now. You could decide in 30 days. It's a 30-day free trial. Okay? But if you can't sense that on the phone, and that only comes with experience, if you can't sense that on the phone, you risk losing people because you didn't put in the biggest bullet point. So what I like to do with people is this. I like to leave the structure the way that I do it, which is the strongest bullet point last. And then if you happen to get hung up on without that bullet point being spit out by you, like they didn't hear it, right? What you do is you call them back right when they hang up on you. You call them back and you say, Pete, I know you hung up on me. That's fine. Like a lot of people hang up on me. I do this all the time, so I get hung up on all the time, okay? One thing I forgot to tell you, and I just wanted to leave this with you so you understand. One thing I forgot to tell you, and it's my fault. This is a free trial, so you don't even have to pay for it now. You could try it for 30 days, and if you don't like it, then you just don't pay for it. That's fine. And I'm sorry I didn't tell you that in the beginning. I just got a little overwhelmed with all the things I was trying to tell you. I was trying to get so much out in in such a little bit of time because I value your time and I don't want to waste it. And I just forgot to say it. So I just wanted to leave that with you. Okay, and then I close them again. All right? So we'll run through it quickly one more time so you understand it from top to bottom. And then with that, you can write your own pitch and you can sell anything. Because it really doesn't matter. Okay? Let's do something random. Let's try alarm systems. I actually sell them from time to time when I'm bored because I do call every single day, whether it's somebody else's product or my own. I cold call every day. And I have a very good friend of mine in Connecticut that sells alarm systems. So I do sell them from time to time. But here's basically how that script would work, right? I'm going to call somebody up and I'm going to say, hi, is Bob there? And let's just say the person picks up the phone. Yeah, hi, this is Bob from Bob's Plumbing. How can I help you? Hey, Bob, it's Kenny from XYZ Marketing Company out in New York. Can you hear me okay? Yes. Great. The reason for the call is there was a recent burglary right down the road from your home, and we're coming through the neighborhood installing free alarm systems. Now, the last thing I would like to do is see you be the next house burglarized. Now, I just have a couple of quick questions to see if we can actually install it on your home. How long have you been living there? Oh, 5 years. What's the approximate value of your home? Just ballpark figure. $350,000. Have you ever had an alarm system in your home before? No, I haven't. Great. Based on what you just told me, Bob, this is a perfect fit for you, and here's basically how it works. Then I give him the bullet points, right? Whatever it is. Bullet point 10, bullet point 9, bullet point 8, bullet point 7. Then I go to him and I say, if you just give us this one shot and one shot only to prove ourselves, Bob, I guarantee you that we won't let you down. Does that seem fair? Yes, that seems fair. Okay, perfect. We can have someone there Tuesday or Thursday. What's better for you, morning or afternoon? Okay, I pin him down on time. No, that doesn't seem fair. Okay, got it. Bullet point number 5 or bullet point number 4, right? No, it still doesn't seem fair. I got to talk to my wife first. Got it. Bullet point number 3. No, I don't know if I have the money right now. Got it. Bullet point number 2. I don't know if I need an alarm. I have shotguns in the house. Awesome. So do I. Got it. Bullet point number 1. And that's how it goes. Okay? That is how you call effectively and take money from people. Okay? Now, really quickly, before I end this video, appointments. Actually, you know what? I'll do appointments in this video. And then I'll make it a separate video too. If you want to watch appointments, just appointments, you can go to the other one. If you want to watch appointments here, you can watch it here. Appointments. How do you get appointments on the call? First of all, you have to know the goal of the call. It's very important, right? If you don't know the goal of the call, you're screwed. It's over. What a lot of people do when they try to book appointments is they try to tell them or pre-sell them on the product or service that they're trying to sell. And that's a problem, right? Like if let's say I'm selling alarm systems and I have to get in somebody's home to do it for whatever reason. I can't sell it on the phone, so I get in someone's home. I'm not going to talk to them about the alarm system on the call because the goal of the call is to get in the home. It's not to sell an alarm system, right? So all I'm going to do is do whatever I got to do to get in the house. I'm not going to talk about alarm systems, okay? What a lot of people do is they'll say, yeah, we're calling you because, I'm going to be in the area next week and we sell alarm systems and there's been a lot of burglaries in your area and we want to try to get in your house and show you what we could do for you and the alarm system is free and on and on and on and on and on. So when can we schedule an appointment with you, right? That's horrible, okay? What I do is I go into an area, and I do this all the time, by the way. I book appointments all the time because I travel a lot. So when I'm traveling, what I want to do is if I go into a city, I want to make sure that that city is booked solid for me when I go there. I may go and visit a client, but I want to make sure that I have 10 other appointments in that city so I'm not wasting my time sitting around doing nothing after I'm done with the client. Okay? So what I'll do is I'll just call the place up and I'll say, he'll say, yeah, this is Joe from Joe's Pizza. How can I help you? And I say, hey, Joe? And the guy's like, yeah. And I say, hey, Joe, this is Kenny. I'm from XYZ Marketing Company out in New York. Can you hear me okay? Yeah, I can. Okay, well, we just opened up a brand new office down in your area, and I've been hearing all over the place that you guys are the best pizza place in town. I'm going to swing by and check it out. You going to be there Tuesday at around 3 o'clock? That's my appointment pitch. Okay? Now, I'm not going to be here Tuesday at 3. Well, when are you going to be there? Are you going to be there Thursday? No, I'm not going to be here Thursday either. Do you work there? I mean, you're there now. What other days are you there? I'm going to be in the area from Tuesday to Thursday. Is there any chance that I could stop by and see you for a couple minutes? Okay. Notice I'm not saying we build websites, which we don't do, but I keep using that as an example. I'm not saying any of that stuff. All I'm saying to him is, I'm coming there because your pizza place is awesome. That's what I heard from a lot of people. Okay. I'm not lying to him. What I'm saying to him is we opened up a new office in the area, which new is relative, right? My company's been in business for 8 years. That's new compared to Ford. Right? It's not new compared to the bagel store that just opened down the road from my house a week ago. So the word new is relative. We just opened up a new office in the area. Well, we are in the area. We're in the same country. Okay, so whatever. In the area doesn't mean I'm right next door to you. I didn't say in your town. I said in the area. Okay? So we just opened up a new office in the area. Everyone's been telling me, man, your pizza place is the greatest place in town. I'm going to stop by there on Tuesday at around 3. You going to be there? That's it. And then when I get there, I sell the stuff. Not on the phone. Okay, so know the goal of the call. If it's an appointment, go with it. If it's a sale, go with it. All right, that's it. Again, my name is Kenny Cannon. Thanks for watching. If you have any other questions, you can let me know.